behalf of my mom and my entire family, I'd like to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of support and love that you've shown us during this very difficult time.
Judge Frank Caprio, known to the world as the nicest judge in the world, passed away on August 20th, 2025, at the age of 88, following a courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. His passing has left a profound void in Providence, Rhode Island, the city he served with honor, and across the globe, where millions admired him for his extraordinary example of justice tempered with compassion. The Caprio family has now released the details of his funeral services. A public visitation will be held on Thursday, August 28th from 3:00 p.m. until 7:00 p.m. at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence. This visitation will allow members of the community, admirers, and mourners from far and wide to pay their final respects. Complimentary parking will be provided in the North Garage to ensure access for all who wish to attend. On the following morning, Friday, August 29th, a Requiem Mass will take place at 10:00 a.m. at the Cathedral of Saints Peter and Paul in Providence. The Mass will be celebrated by Archbishop Richard Henning. This solemn liturgy will serve as the city's formal farewell to a man whose life embodied mercy and justice. Following the Mass, a private burial will be held, attended only by the immediate family. These arrangements, though factual, represent far more than the scheduling of a ceremony. They represent a moment of collective mourning, not only for a city and a family, but for the millions across the world who came to see Judge Caprio as a moral guide. His courtroom became a beacon of humanity at a time when compassion often feels absent from public life. His death is not simply the loss of a judge, it is the loss of a voice of reason, kindness, and humility. In this time of grief, the most powerful words came not from officials or dignitaries, but from his own family. One of Judge Caprio's sons, speaking on behalf of his mother and siblings, expressed his family's gratitude to the community. His words were solemn, heartfelt, and deeply moving. He said, "On behalf of my mom and my family, I would like to thank you for the outpouring of tremendous support and the love you have shown us during this difficult time." These words carried the weight of a widow's sorrow, the voice of children mourning their father, and the gratitude of a family, overwhelmed by the support of thousands who felt the same loss. Through this simple but profound statement, his son gave expression to the pain and appreciation of an entire family, whose private grief has been met with extraordinary public love. To understand why these words struck so deeply, it is necessary to reflect upon the life that Judge Caprio lived. Born in 1936 in Providence, Frank Caprio was the son of Italian immigrants. His father, a fruit peddler from Naples, and his mother, a homemaker, instilled in him values of hard work, humility, and respect for the dignity of every person. From an early age, he experienced the struggles of working-class life, and those experiences never left him. They formed the foundation of the empathy that would later define his public service. Caprio became a teacher before he became a lawyer. His years in the classroom shaped his understanding of people and gave him a gift for communication. He entered the legal profession and eventually public service, serving on the Providence City Council for more than 2 decades. But it was his judicial career, particularly his role as chief municipal judge of Providence, that brought him international recognition. In that courtroom, Caprio presided over cases many might dismiss as minor: parking violations, traffic infractions, small municipal offenses. Yet he saw in every case a human being with a story, a struggle, and a life that deserved to be acknowledged. His approach was never to reduce people to case numbers or violations, but to hear them, to understand them, and to exercise mercy when possible. This philosophy was captured in the television program Caught in Providence, which broadcast his courtroom proceedings. What began as a local production soon became a global phenomenon. Clips from the show spread widely on social media, garnering millions of views. In these moments, people around the world saw a judge who did not humiliate defendants but uplifted them. They saw laughter in court, tears in court, and acts of forgiveness that reminded audiences of the humanity within the justice system. Judge Caprio became a symbol of what justice could be. To many, he was more than a judge. He was a mentor, a father figure, even a spiritual guide. When the news of his passing broke, messages of mourning and tribute poured in from every corner of the globe. People spoke not of legal rulings, but of the way his words had comforted them, the way his compassion had given them hope. This is why his funeral arrangements carry such weight. The Rhode Island Convention Center and the Cathedral of Saints Peter and Paul will not merely host ceremonies. They will hold the collective grief of a city, a family, and an international community that feels this loss deeply. At the visitation, mourners will walk quietly past displays of his life, images of a boy growing up in Providence, of a teacher in the classroom, of a young husband beside his wife Joyce, of a public servant in the council chambers, and of the smiling judge who listened with patience and ruled with kindness. The air will be heavy with sorrow, but also with reverence. At the Requiem Mass, the cathedral's soaring arches will echo with hymns of hope and lament. The Archbishop will speak of his faith and his service, but it will be the silent prayers of those gathered that will perhaps say the most. Among them will be people from every walk of life, leaders and laborers, teachers and students, neighbors and strangers, united in mourning. And in the midst of this, the family's gratitude, voiced through his son, will remain. On behalf of my mom and my family, I would like to thank you. These words are not formalities. They are the true expression of a family that has been sustained in their grief by the overwhelming love and respect shown to them. The burial that follows will be private as it should be. It will belong only to the family, to the widow who shared nearly 60 years with him, to the children who knew him as a father long before the world knew him as a judge. Yet, for the public, the true resting place of Judge Caprio will be in memory. His life will continue in the stories told by those he touched, in the lessons he taught through his example, and in the countless acts of kindness he inspired. Judge Caprio often said that the true measure of a life is found not in accolades or titles, but in the lives touched along the way. By that measure, his life was beyond measure. As Providence prepares for his funeral, the world prepares to carry his legacy forward. His widow's grief, his son's gratitude, his family's love, all of these are deeply personal, yet they resonate universally. They remind us that Judge Caprio's greatest gift was not his rulings, but his humanity. In the end, his funeral will be both a farewell and a call to action, a farewell to a man who gave his life to justice with mercy, and a call for each of us to live as he did, with empathy, compassion, and humility. Judge Frank Caprio has departed from this world, but his example endures. His courtroom may now be silent, but the lessons it taught will continue to echo across generations. He showed us that justice without compassion is incomplete, and that true strength lies in kindness. Rest in peace, Judge Caprio. Your legacy lives on, not only in Providence, but in the hearts of millions around the world who believe, because of you, that the law can have a heart, and that compassion is the truest form of justice.